Hi Libra, this is your reading for August. Sorry. So as I was getting the cards and I was shuffling them, I started singing I'm No Angel by Dido to myself. And I stopped and I'm like, that's weird. I haven't heard or sang that song in a really long time. And then I was like, maybe this is relevant for Libra. So I'm probably gonna leave the link to the YouTube video for that song in the description box, because either maybe the lyrics will say something to you, or in the very least you should know that song anyway because it's a good song. So fairly quickish reading today. I'm gonna be using 2 decks, the Crystal Vision and the After Tarot. 2 cards from each plus the underside of the deck, which ends up being 6 cards. And it's gonna just be what's going on right now and what direction are you headed. And I already shuffled a lot while listening to that song, but I'm gonna shuffle a little more while I'm on camera. And I just switched cards there, but I didn't look at them yet. I still hadn't seen them before anyone freaks out. It's stuck in my head now. Ugh. Seriously, it's a good song. Gosh, my nose is itchy and I keep dropping cards. I don't know what is going on here, but all right. All right. Okay, so let's start with the underside of the deck. So for the present situation, we have the King of Pentacles. So either this is you or this is someone that you're dealing with. But the King of Pentacles is, basically the material world and finances and, things you can actually hold or possess. That is his strongest area. He's very focused on that. Everything is in order, doesn't have debt, bank accounts are healthy, and he's upright. So there's not an imbalance where, too money oriented. It's actually someone who is, stable, not manipulative with their finances, which is good. So either that's you, in which case, or if that's a boss or a partner, they're a good person to be with or work for. But I'm gonna go with that, actually one second. Okay, so there's a few different interpretations here. I don't know what, well, I guess I do know why. For a lot of these readings, I've been getting dating app stuff. where it's like, you know, people have like a ton of options. And so one interpretation of this is, you know, maybe this is a guy that you were seeing, and you know, he had a lot of options. The Seven of Cups is generally having a lot of options, but not knowing what actually has worth and what just looks good. And then the Ten of Swords. So it could be that this person had a lot of options and, you know, kind of took you out of the running. But, so that's one interpretation. But when I looked at this card, I didn't mainly look at the girl. I was looking at the 10 swords. So I was thinking, you know, I'm not saying there's like 10 other people that they're considering, but I was also thinking that one interpretation could be that, you know, either they made a decision about all of their options, or it's possible that you had all the options and, you know, you made a decision and you cut off options. Like, you know, you saw what was and wasn't worthy and you cut some off. One second. Yeah, I mean, the biggest message I'm getting from that is, you know, ending things, cutting off different options, potentially maybe in favor of focusing on finances, or, you know, just keeping your material life balanced. But I really do get a sense of cutting off people who were romantically interested, whether you were one of them or, you know, it could also be like job candidates. So it's possible that you were interviewing people, and you know, you had all these different options, maybe their resumes all looked good, that's how they got an interview, and yeah, I'm kind of feeling this more than the romance. It could still be romance, but that's what I'm seeing. That maybe you were interviewing people and, you know, you cut some of them off. And, you know, in this picture, like, I mean, none of the characters in this deck really look old, but like this girl looks especially young, and she, I hope you can see that. And she has like the flower and it's just kind of wilted in the snow, and it just, you know, it just, it's like a very sad flower placement. So, you know, it's like people who are young and, you know, hoping that they can give you this rose they've worked really hard to create. You know, if they got turned down, you know, they're upset. Like, anytime you get turned down for a job, I feel like someone kicked your soul a little bit, you know? And in the second line of cards here, we have the After Tarot, and the underside of the deck is the Four of Cups in reverse, the Ten of Wands in reverse, or the Ten of Wands upright, and the Nine of Wands upright. So, you are heading for exhaustion. What I'm getting is, one second. It could be that you've put people through rounds of interviews, and I mean, they're exhausted because they're kind of sitting here like, you know, are you gonna hire me, or like, should I go be doing something else? But I've heard of companies putting people through like 6 rounds of interviews before, and I'm like, that just seems cruel. Like, So it could be something like that. Also, you know, if people don't have the resources that they would normally, you know, a lengthy round of interviews can really put even more of a strain on them because, you know, they have to wake up every day and stay motivated even though they have no resources and they're exhausted, and it's, you know, it might be a little harder. And I don't know if the interviews are in person, but even over the computer. But it looks like, you know, this process has potentially been dragged out a lot because it almost seems like you're completely stagnating yourself because you're not seeing the value in any of the options that you have. You're just dissatisfied with all of them. So I know one thing that we can do is we keep holding out and waiting for the perfect thing, right? Like, no, it's out there. But striving for perfection, you know, it can get us into trouble, and we're always going to be dissatisfied if we're always waiting for something perfect because we are humans, and my God, we are imperfect. We are far from perfect. So my advice for that would be maybe don't wait for perfection. Maybe be a little more flexible and look at the full picture of a person and not if they check off every box, because more likely than not, nobody's going to. And that can definitely apply for dating too. This I can see for dating because, okay, if you look at these sticks, what do these sticks look like? Right? So, could be that you are getting it from a lot of people, but you're constantly dissatisfied. So you may have cut off people, but I just thought, please make sure you're using protection. I know that there's a pandemic and people are, you know, like, oh, fuck it, but like seriously, not using protection is still a thing, and unless you want children or STDs, just put a bag on there. That's all you gotta do. I actually had another thought literally as soon as I turned off the camera, because this is the after tarot. So, the 10 of Wands is usually a guy holding like, 10 wands. They're really heavy. And the after tarot is drawn to depict what happens a few minutes after the image in the original deck. So, this guy, he has all the wands and he dropped them and he just has one left. And you have the 9 of Wands right here. So my guess is that you might have so many options that eventually you're not going to be able to carry them all, or like it's just too much. And if you're only left with one, but you didn't make that choice, you lost the options because they got fed up with waiting or knowing they were an option, you're going to be really, really dissatisfied. So another thing I want to say is, if that is you, make your choice before your choice gets made for you, because you're not going to like what you're left with. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, bye Libra.